Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey. Of course, I sit with my best bud, Tony. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Once again, we're having the conversation that this took us a minute to get, but we got it.
Yeah, it's something that we've talked about it since I don't know how
November or something.
Yeah, since November. I don't know how we talk about it without talking about it.
Right. I don't think we do. I think we just get in. I mean, not get in, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, it's a conversation that is following up to a podcast that we did with him earlier, and when we released his first podcast, there was Go ahead. You tell the story because it's
okay. So
he threatened you.
That's true. That's a true story. So today we're talking to Hairgod Zito, Rickey Zito. So the first time that we talked to Rickey, it was I think literally we'll get the dates from them, but it was literally like 2 weeks before his accident, and
we talked to him November 4th.
November 4th was the date. So we talked to him right after it was right before his accident. And for the first couple minutes of the first podcast, we talked about his motorcycle, and he was in a motorcycle accident. So out of respect for him, I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, Rick," I go, "we can remove the first 5 minutes if you want, if you don't want to talk about the motorcycle, because I was just trying to be respectful to him and what had gone on." And he rapidly sent a text back and said, "I don't hide from my mistakes. If you take it out, I'm kicking your ass." And right. He's a big dude, so I was like, "All right, done deal, man. Don't kick my ass, man."
So we left it in.
Clearly we left it in. So since the accident, we've wanted to talk to Rickey about the accident. We've wanted to talk to Rickey about his recovery and what he's been up to. So
he's been doing some amazing posts, kind of almost like a documentary of that, and man, you just have so much respect and you can feel it so much, you know what I mean, empathy, and you just it's remarkable.
It really is.
You know what I mean?
And I just respect that they're sharing, probably their certainly Rickey's most vulnerable time in his life, and he's sharing that with the community, because I think the community needs to see it and needs to hear it.
100%.
He was, and let's be honest, I mean, we can talk, I guess we'll talk a little bit about it, but when after his accident, like, our community surrounded him too, and our community held him up, and I know they did a GoFundMe and stuff, and I'm sure that was pretty successful as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's done so much for our community. He's given so much to our community, and it's only appropriate. And it was great to see the community, you know what I mean, standing up for him. So
I love it. It's great to see him back on his feet, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So should we get in?
Let's do it.
Let's get in. So, Mr. Hairgod Zito, welcome back to your day off.
Hold on. I think y'all mistaken. I ain't been in no accident.
Apparently he forgot. So what was the date of your accident, Rick?
November 22nd, right?
21st. November 21st, yeah.
So that other voice that you hear, that's Briza, and that's been his lady, his support,
stability.
His side.
Accident.
I really don't know what I would have did without her.
Yeah, right. So November 24th. So you were on your scooter, as you said, your scooter. So talk about
it, man.
But before the podcast started, Briza started telling us a story how when he left November 4th from the original podcast.
Oh, yeah.
How he got a little spooked going home because it was such a long ride on that particular bike.
Yes, I actually have text messages from Rickey saying, like, "I'm scared for my life. I feel so scared, like I'm going to die." Like, on his way home from your podcast.
Wow.
I remember because
he was scared.
It was right there by the airport, and it was, I guess, rush hour. Airplanes was landing. And nobody was really seeing me. I was on that scooter, and it was at night, and I never do that. I pulled in a store, and I was like, "Holy shit, I'm going to go all the way home."
No, he told me that he was seeing himself. He's like, "I see myself dying right now. Like, I'm so scared." Like,
wow.
He's not very vulnerable very often, and he gets kind of, I see you, pushing back a little bit, but you're vulnerable only to me, I feel.
Well, I'm human. I swear,
He's my human. Okay?
Yeah, right.
But I do remember being nervous at that time and being scared and actually saying that. And the messed up part is it was actually days after the podcast that I got in that accident.
Yeah, right. Because you said it was October
almost
4th,
like a
right?
premonition. Like you kind of had that feeling. It wasn't for that night, but
Yeah. Maybe I should have quit riding.
right.
I've never been called smart. You know?
Well, the day of his accident, the night before we had been shooting. We had been shooting on the rooftop of our apartment.
Oh, I thought you were shooting guns.
Sorry about my
We've been
guitar.
Right.
We've been shooting each other. And he woke up the next day and went to work, but I told him be careful because he had a lot of things on him. And he said, I'm not worried about the Osmo. Or no, he's like, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about the Osmo. And I was like, well, be careful. Like, who cares if you drop the Osmo?
Right.
But
I said I'll die before the Osmo.
pretty much, not those exact words, but
I just
meant
got an
it.
Osmo
That's-
Pro.
he meant
and
that.
they're, it's a $3,000 piece of equipment.
it didn't break though. A little bit, but he got it fixed.
Yeah. I know.
So let's go back to that morning. Like, what were you like? Were you heading into work, or what was going
I
on?
was
He ordered McDonald's in the morning. I remember. Okay, he ordered McDonald's. Yes, he did.
I don't remember nothing of that
I remember
day
everything.
or 8 days after.
I remember
I
everything.
woke up 8 days after.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So you don't remember going to work or where you were going?
I never made it.
Right. Clearly.
But, I do remember leaving and talking to Briza about the Osmo. That come to me later.
Right.
But
It didn't come to him later. It's because I kept telling him about
Got
it
it.
while he was in his
Something
coma.
Got it.
I
But,
talked to him a lot then.
on my way to work, someone clipped me in the back tire. Got over on me. It was recorded at a stoplight because it was at Highland and Sunset. The car that got over my back tire actually watched me wreck, pulled over his car over in front of me, and never got out. Played on his phone.
He was an older man, like in his 70s or 80s.
Did he stay there and wait for
Authorities to get there. He never got out and seen if I was living or nothing.
what?
Yeah, it was damn aliens.
Well, crazy enough, I actually found photos of Ricky on the street like a week or so later. It was insane.
They
I
have this,
found photos of him on the street on Instagram.
But they have this site, this Instagram site that posts, and every time they see somebody in a motorcycle accident, they take pictures and post about it.
It's a community.
Yeah, every time they post a candle, it means somebody died. So after I woke up out of my coma and went to I was following that site because someone showed it to me. Briza did, and by the time the new year came around, there was 22 or something candles posted.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the guy that had sold him his scooter,
Right.
his license plate, his friends knew his license plate. So when Ricky had gotten in the accident, they reached out to him like, "Hey, Angel, like,
They thought it was him.
what's up? Like, are you okay?" And
Because in California, like they don't the tags transfer, right? Transfer with the vehicle.
They hadn't yet.
I
because
just got it.
He had just
Oh right.
no,
Well,
not just, but
I had like 2 months left of before I had to mess with it.
it was kind of like he bought it and he wasn't
I was
fully
very
done
busy.
with all
the
the other
renovation.
all of the adulting.
Things.
Yeah.
So they reached out to him, and then Angel reached out to me, and he actually sent me that. And then Ricky was out still. Ricky was still out. Like he was out for 7 days.
Come to
So-
find out, I got that scooter right there in L.A. because I lived a mile from work. I ride down Sunset. I thought, dang, I get a scooter. People will be aware around here. You know, they get a lot of people walking, pedestrians. It won't be that much danger. Well, come to find out, L.A. is the worst city in America to ride a motorcycle. There's more deaths there than anywhere else. I was like, damn, I wish I'd have knew that.
Ricky, were you wearing a helmet?
Yes, I was wearing
Because I know
a
California doesn't have a helmet law, right?
They do.
They do have a helmet law.
Yes, and I was wearing a half helmet.
Like a little beanie.
One of them sexy ones.
You know what, Briza? So when did you get a phone call, or how did you find out about Ricky's accident?
I was getting ready for work. I was actually going to meet him there, and
At the studio?
yeah, and Courtney had called me. His manager, Courtney, had
Yeah.
called me, and my
boss.
little sister was actually with me. She was actually going to ride with him that day. He probably wouldn't have gotten an accident that day if she rode with him because he would have been more careful. Because when I was with him, he was careful. I was like,
Right.
I was holding on to him like, ooh, you better slow down. Like,
Right.
So it's her fault.
my dad was actually a Harley driver.
Harley
He
Davidson.
was a Mongol.
Yeah.
So like, okay. So he.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, he was a Mongol,
Yeah,
like straight up.
wow.
Her dad is a very scary man.
But like I grew up with bikes and stuff. I grew up with those things. So when I was with Ricky, I was still scared though. I was still like, oh no, I don't trust anybody on this thing. So I knew that she had been with him. Maybe he would have thought to go slower. Maybe either way, if she was with him and he crashed, I would have stuck too. Like, but I told my sister, hey, tell her I'm in the restroom because I was getting ready. I wasn't really in the restroom, but I was getting ready.
Right.
So she texted me and says, hey, I think Ricky got hurt. And then that's when I was like, oh, shit. So then I texted her and I called her.
So was your first instinct that he was hurt, or was your first instinct like, oh, he had like a little, bruise or something?
My first instinct was to look at the last video we made together and reminisce the whole way to the hospital. That was the first thing I did.
Really?
She's an empath.
So I was just looking at her video and I was just like analyzing it, and I was just looking at it over and over again until I got there. And I was just like, as soon as I got there and I seen his feet.
But before you saw his feet, you didn't know what to expect.
No, I didn't. But I definitely have known people to be in motorcycle accidents before, many times. And I've been to many funerals, many motorcycle funerals. And when I seen him, I kind of knew in my heart. I was like, okay. His face looks good. He doesn't look like he's like all tore up. He doesn't look like he has any like, inner bleeding going on. Like I was just
like he has inner bleeding.
No, I seen him and I felt it because I felt it right away.
Right.
And I knew, and he's strong. He's very strong. And he never shows that he's vulnerable. The first time I've actually seen him vulnerable was the first time he woke up and he asked me for help, and he said, help me. Right. He just had to go pee. But
that'll make all of us vulnerable.
but that was the first time I ever seen that, and I was just like, dang, it's crazy. It's it's a powerful thing when someone who never really was vulnerable and you see them vulnerable and you're just like, wow, it's crazy.
Right.
And then, boom. Briza stayed there the whole 8 days that I was in a coma. She never really left, man. She sat there the whole time.
I left like once or twice. I had to get clothes and
cigarettes. So Briza,
take a shower, clean up.
Woke up,
no, I didn't. I didn't shower. Like I was depressed with him. I was like, I'm not showering if you're not showering.
So Briza, what so kind of go through like what after the accident, like what were Ricky's injuries, or like what was his diagnosis?
Okay, so the first thing that I knew was that he had broken teeth. Because the cops, like when I seen the cops, they're like, well, he better stop riding because you don't get 2 of these. And I was like, ooh, yeah. So he's like, he has broken teeth. He has a broken pinky. Something's going on with his shoulder. Something's going on with his hip. Something's going on with his knee. And something's going on with his neck. He broke it. So
when they said something's wrong with his neck, did you think paralysis, or did you think,
no?
What was your thoughts there?
Well, the neck thing, they didn't tell me it was broken right away. So they just said, he's in critical condition, but he's going to be okay. And I said, oof. So the first time I seen him was when I walked in, it was after all his x-rays. I was just waiting for his x-rays to be done. Literally like 30 minutes after his accident, right away it happened. I walk into the emergency room and they said, okay, we're going to give him stitches now. I was like, whew. So they had to give him stitches in his lip because his lip was split.
Yeah, I remember the pictures.
I was holding his hand and I was just like, and he was crying, his ears. I mean,
so he was crying in a coma?
No,
this was after?
No, he was awake, but he wasn't like fully awake.
Got it.
He was responding, but he wasn't
like completely conscious.
Exactly. He was unconsciously responding because it was just like his.
They sewed up all my gums where the teeth got knocked out.
Oh.
They did.
So I imagine that made tears come to my eyes.
You know what?
It's making tears come to my eyes just thinking about it.
What made tears come to his eyes was actually the numbing shot. The numbing shot is what really hurt him, and the stitching didn't hurt.
Right.
The numbing shot was painful looking. I was just like, when I seen it, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna edit all your videos right now for you and just relieve stress.
My neck, they didn't know really because I broke the occipital plate. It's the bone, that little thing on your skull that holds your skeleton to your skull.
Whoa.
That's my guitar. I broke that plate. It's the hardest bone in your body. And I had contusions with blood on my brain. So they thought I was going to come back, and they kept telling Briza I was okay. Shh. But they thought I was going to come back, slower and not all the way there.
They just didn't know. They didn't know if he was going to have any like long-term memory loss or short-term memory loss. They also didn't know if his memory was going to ever like heal.
Right.
Their main concern was his memory. They said his body's fine. He has a lot of injuries and he's going to have some recovery, but his memory is what we're concerned about. He didn't know where he worked. He didn't know where he lived. He didn't know anything.
So this is when he first came through.
Oh,
with the coma. So was the coma was it medically induced or was it just
it was
where
medically
he was?
induced.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was both. Yeah.
To try to get the swelling down in the brain,
Yep. Well, the swelling down in the throat
in the throat. Oh, that's right.
because he broke his
shattered
neck.
all the cartilage in my throat.
He couldn't breathe. That's why they did an emergency trachea.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, tracheotomy.
They did it They did it on Thanksgiving.
Cut it right on the scar. Ain't that cool?
Yeah. So they cut his throat. Alfredo actually signed the thing saying he was his stepbrother.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because like we had no family, nothing. So he's like, yeah, I'm a stepbrother. Right away, he just said that, and then signed the paper, and then had the surgery, and then next day, Rickey was not conscious for 7 days.
Wow.
When I woke up, Briza knew I was all right because I woke up and I was like, what? Anybody got a cigarette? I felt like I got in an accident that day.
Right.
I seen Briza in the back go.
Yeah.
Did her,
That was like solidifying that he's here, so with
Because
us.
wanted the cigarette. So Rickey, what?
We all were throwing up prayers.
Yeah, we definitely were.
Thank you.
We definitely were. So Rickey, what's going on with your voice there? Speaking of like getting your throat cut.
Shoot. All right, so one of my vocal cords is paralyzed for life.
For like, so this is it. This is what we get.
It isn't done yet. It's known to come back all the way up to a year. Last appointment I went to, the first appointment, it was dead, laying there, a little slim. I got the prettiest vagina you ever seen.
It
In my
literally looks
throat.
like a vagina.
It's
like,
beautiful.
he's not kidding.
All
Like,
moist
it's really
and-
pretty.
So one of my lips or my vocal cords
them
was
was
like purpley, almost black. The second time I went, it was like yellow, off colored.
So it's getting some
This
circulation.
last time I went, it was baby pink.
That's good.
So I was gonna have a surgery to make my voice louder in October, but since it was pink, it's get set back to December now.
Because you were waiting
It
to
could
see
come
if it
back.
comes back.
I hope to God it comes back.
Yeah.
If not, the surgery's kind of brutal, but it's something I have to do. The voice really drives me crazy, bro.
Is that the one?
I can't go nowhere, no bar rooms and nothing.
Yeah.
I can't make my voice louder.
Right.
So it's even hard at the shows. It's hard in a busy salon. It isn't doable for me.
Right.
Now I got this sexy raspy voice.
do.
Right.
At least he doesn't have a high pitched voice. Imagine it
I
changed.
was
Like,
worried. I was like,
Is that
if I have a surgery, will I sound like Mike Tyson now?
so? All jokes aside, was that a possibility, or could it be a consideration?
No,
For the voice
it's
to be
not.
high?
No, Albert, that's the first question I had. In reality, it's the edges of the voice coral that makes your voice. So as long as they don't fuck with my edges.
Don't
It
mess
just-
with his edges.
it makes it harder for him to finish his sentences. That's the only thing. It's just like his sentences at the end, everyone's always like, huh? Like at the very
Because,
end.
I have air flowing through the whole shit. All right, your vocal cords slap up against each other. That's what makes your voice.
Right.
Mine almost slap up against each other. One of them's smaller than the other, so air's coming out the whole time.
Got it.
So I can't keep my breath when I'm saying long sentences. And actually, I gotta focus on my voice the whole time because it flies out the handle. It's pitchy. It's
You know when you
it's been a
drink out of a
struggle.
straw? When you drink out of a straw, straight air flows through.
Right.
Imagine you had one straw in the water and one straw out of
Got
the
it.
water, and you drink it. How
Or
hard
kind
it
of
would be
like,
to
when you
drink.
get a hole in the straw, and like you only get like a third of the fluid or something.
The same exact.
that's
thing.
what she said.
Oh
I mean,
snap!
I'm just kidding.
Excuse me.
Well, yeah, that was my neck was bad. My back I broke in 2 places. But my shoulder bothers me a lot now too. In reality, dude, I wake up every morning and I'm a little, rusty.
Right.
It takes him a little while to get up.
Yeah, it's getting better. But I used to wake up and I had a neck brace on. I was just staring at the ceiling. But I couldn't get up. I was just stuck. It was pretty brutal. I wore a neck brace for 6 months.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was dying to get that thing off. A funny thing, I'm in the hospital. And I wake up. When I first woke up, I pulled everything out of myself. Feeding tube.
3 times. He pulled his feeding tube out 3 times. He pulled everything that was plugged into him out. He
was
just
bothering
unconsciously.
me.
He didn't know. He didn't know he was doing it. He just woke up and like.
A funny part is Sugar Skulls. Sugar Skulls comes to see me.
Carlos.
Carlos, yes, a good friend of mine. He comes to see me, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, serious, boy. I got a neck brace on, and I'm strapped down because I was ripping my crap out.
They had to keep
I
finding
look
him
at
down
him,
to
and
the bed.
I'm serious as a heart attack, and I'm like, they shortening my arms, bro.
He can't see his arms, so it's like he's thinking his arms are shorter because his neck brace is on.
There was a bunch of cool things, you know, getting up, and I'm talking to Briza. I was having to go through a bunch of therapies.
Yeah, he had physical therapy,
Sure.
voice therapy, or
Occupational therapy. and,
occupational therapy. He had, all these therapies, behavioral therapy. Just kidding.
Psychological therapy.
Yeah. He was like, Briza, shh, you're in therapy. It was his catheter. He
Every
was
time I
peeing.
peed,
He was peeing. He was like, you're in therapy. Shh. And I was like, okay, Ricky, you do that. Get it with your bands out. Like,
there was a lot of stuff that went on, you know, when you're up in there. Like, I turned into like a little good boy.
he did. He was very like, he had his manners and he
Put
like,
together.
yeah, it was like the
I've
opposite
never
of
been
Ricky.
like that my whole life.
It was opposite of Ricky. He was so polite. He was really, I mean, he's always polite, but he was like so southernly polite. Like where it was like his pinky was up when he was drinking water or something. I was like, oh my God, I like this.
That's funny. So Briza, so how quickly after his accident did you put up the what's it called, GoFundMe?
I didn't put the GoFundMe.
I thought you did.
No, it was just like a bunch of us.
It was actually started by
First, it was started by Julius from Bellamy. Like,
Okay.
and I reached out to him saying, "Hey, no one knows he has an accident yet." So,
Right.
and then I felt so bad, and then I was like, "You're so sweet for doing that," but like
Right.
we haven't told anybody yet. So I just was not ready for the questions and for the text messages and for getting back to people. So he took it down right away.
Yeah,
and
Julius is a good dude too.
yes, and I was just like, thank you, because I just didn't want to like.
You want to deal with it at that
Oh yeah, I had a
moment.
whole week of solitary, and it was great with Ricky because Ricky was also in solitary.
Sure.
It wasn't great.
Well, you didn't know. You were out.
It was great to not have to worry about like questions and stuff until
Till you're ready.
we were ready. I was waiting for him.
Well, you
to
probably
have
didn't have many answers 8 days in either.
didn't. I
Right?
didn't
So
at
like
all.
people are asking
You're
questions, you have
right.
no answers, right?
100%. I didn't. The doctor would tell me something, and it almost like it was hard to pay attention to it because I was so sad. Like I was like,
Sure.
"Ugh." But then when I was waiting for Ricky to tell me that he wanted to tell people,
I didn't even know where I was.
I'd ask him every day. You
Like
know,
I woke
like
up and she's like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm home."
Give me a
I've been
cigarette.
here. I was serious.
So Briza,
Like,
like,
go
what?
give me a cigarette.
I was sneaking out all the time. I'd hit my cigarette and blow it out through my drink.
Oh,
honestly,
that's
okay,
another story.
He
yeah.
didn't
Super
really.
healthy.
He didn't really ask for a cigarette right away. To him, it was right away, but
Obviously, to you, it wasn't right.
no, yeah,
Probably
he
like
didn't.
a month later. I guess.
Yeah, it was like about a month.
it
He
was-
really wanted one. No, it was a month. You're
Was
right.
it?
Yeah, it was about a month.
It's so hazy to me, man. I really,
very
after I
hazy.
get back home, thinking back, I don't remember as much as I thought I would.
How long were you in the hospital the whole time? I mean,
6 weeks.
Really?
6 weeks.
It was from November 21st to December 8th. So however many.
So whatever that is. So,
Yeah.
what was it like, Briza? What was it like for you when you watched the entire industry support you guys? Because I know for us, it was like just watching it was pretty emotional.
Honestly, like Instagram and everybody's support made me feel like they could relate to me, and that what I was feeling was significant. It made me feel very significant. So I felt really good about Instagram and like people. I was getting back to Ricky's messages, and I felt really good about it. And it was honestly the highlight of my day.
Right.
And I would read it to him, and I would show him pictures like, this is the person who's saying this. And
Right.
and I
Every
would let
day.
them know, like, hey, I showed him your picture. He remembers you, even though he was kind of like, he kind of didn't. But
He was like, "Who are those Hairdustry guys?"
no, no, like I always had to remind him things. Like when he was in his coma, I was talking to him the whole time. I was telling him about things. I was telling him about everything. I was reminding him of things that he liked, and I just wanted to constantly remind him who he was, really, because I didn't know if he would come back.
Sure. Wow, man.
I was totally blown away looking back at everything.
I knew he was there, though.
Made me
I
feel
knew.
like, still to this day, it makes me feel just warm about our industry. Just warm inside. It's a beautiful thing, man.
We've seen the industry do it, a couple of times. We've seen the industry come together for people. Because who's the girl?
Caitlin Ford.
Caitlin Ford.
Yes,
Like
Caitlin's-
that's pretty awesome.
Well.
Yeah, she had an accident as well, and it was pretty amazing to watch the industry come together there, and then for Rickey, it was just amazing to kind of watch. And you know what the highlight of my day was, Briza, was watching when you would do your lives or when you would do your post, and like because all of us, I know as an industry, and I think I can speak for all of us. I mean, all of us were really concerned about Rickey, and to watch your lives and to watch all that. I mean, that was the update. It was that moment like, okay, there's a little bit of news, even if it was just like, hey, Rickey woke up or Rickey needed a cigarette or whatever that was. But it kind of made us feel like, when somebody goes through these as an outsider, when somebody goes through this, like you want to be a part of it, but we're in DC, you're in LA, so it was just really, really nice when you did that, because we're like, okay, we can all now, pray for Rickey and know that our prayers are working as well. And I think as an industry that was really important.
We definitely felt it.
Yes.
And
see, it was sorry.
No, you're good.
No, go Rick.
Good.
It was really, 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 really weird for me.
What?
Sorry, that was my. It's okay. Go ahead, take your time.
You got it. We were talking about how the industry reached out to you and how nice it was to hear Briza's updates while you were there.
Briza caught grief for shooting them live stories. People were,
People
breaking
were
their
like,
balls about saying that they didn't need to put that up and stuff.
Right.
But the feedback we got back from it was
So
great.
good.
I don't have no chill. So when I come up, I started trying to fix myself as fast as possible. I was doing hair with a neck brace, no teeth on. I should have healed more. But so people didn't know how bad the accident really was.
Right.
They took it lighter. So I go to Orlando, and when I first come back, my first big show, nobody really mentioned it. And then Briza made this documentary the whole time and filmed it all.
Right.
When she released it right before Behind the Chair, I go to Behind the Chair, and everybody's like, oh, my God, I'm glad you're okay. They didn't say that at the first hair show. It's just like they realized how bad it really was.
Right.
Because we didn't put it out there or tell the world how bad it really was. And that's kind of my fault, I didn't know how to take it at the time of it. And
Well, how would you,
Yeah. And I still don't want people to look down on me. No one's ever going to look at me like a victim. You know what I mean? I'm blessed in a lot of ways. And if I tell you, I'm going to tell you some other ways that I've been blessed since my accident. I'm blessed at Briza. I'm blessed at, so I get home. Man.
He's trying to get some tonight.
I
think it's working.
Blessed.
I guess I'll wear that wig. I got your time?
I get home and I'm nervous. I'm just nervous.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited. And then I check my mail. My first bill was $472,000. Holy crap. Now, I got really nervous then. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just thought my life was gone down. Well, the first big blessing that come to me out of the rarity was this woman reached out to me and asked to have lunch. I said, okay. Went and met her for lunch. She was getting her hair cut or something and found out about my accident.
It was JR. Sent her your way.
He's
He's
like,
you need to talk to that girl.
I think I can help you. I'm like, what? So I go meet with her at lunch. I think she looked crazy. She's a financial advisor. She's very smart with the law. So Donald Trump passed some law whenever he become president to piss off Obama.
She pretty much covered all his bills. That's what he's saying.
I'll break it down. She just killed the whole thing.
Yeah, she fucking.
So she's like, do you mind if I file for you and stuff? I was like, no, that's fine. That'd be great. File for me. I thought I was never going to hear nothing. Come to find out, her mother was a hairdresser. Her mother actually threw out her back when she was senior in high school, and they lost all their money, went broke.
Wow.
So she had a soft spot for hairdressers. She reached out, asked if she could file for me. Next thing, she calls me and asks me to go, come back and talk to her. I go back. She's like, I covered it all. I got it all covered for you.
Whoa.
What the hell,
Yeah,
dude?
which
$472,000.
at the time, we really needed it because we both weren't working for like about almost 2 months, and we had a whole salon to pay, and Philip had moved out, so we had the whole rent. So it was like a lot for us. Like Ricky had been in a coma, you know, so we weren't working. So it was like a blessing. It was a blessing. Like we were,
it's like hitting the lottery, man.
It was definitely something that we needed, and it was someone watching out for us because we were almost in a bind. Like if we had a whole salon rent to pay.
They were looking out for you before that.
Dude, you know, now they got laws passed that they don't tell nobody about. He was just trying to piss off Obama with some laws. If you're 1099 and you're covered and you've been working for years, always been 1099.
Sorry.
You're covered. If something bad happens, you can get insurance and they backdate it. So that's how she did it. Whoa. I was like blown away, dude. What's the chances? That's being blessed.
She's really a powerhouse with that. Like that's her thing. Like she's like, I want to find
owns
justice.
Women's Group
like, she's women
in Pasadena.
Like,
wow.
Sorry guys.
You want to? Is she looking for? I mean, yeah. You want to give her a shout out?
Virginia Women's Group, Pasadena, California.
It's Women's in Wealth. Women's in Wealth. Yeah.
She's an
Pasadena.
amazing person, man.
All right, Virginia Women's in Wealth, Pasadena.
Yes.
Really amazing.
All right, so I really feel like I'm here for a reason. It's kind of hard to explain. Something wants me here. Something kept me here. I don't know how to explain it. I've been blessed in so many weird ways. I'm seeing things that true colors, you know, everything's adding up. I'm at a peace, and I feel like I've got a mission, and
he feels.
I have no clue what that is.
But when you said that you when it made you feel some type of way when I was posting and you'd see, I felt that when I wouldn't post, people would think something was wrong.
Well, I mean,
It made me feel
that's the other side of it, right?
And I got a couple messages saying like, "Hey, how's everything going?" Because I had stopped posting because I was just like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to get personal," because like, Ricky was not conscious.
They thought I died.
We all did.
Ricky was not like fully conscious. He was there, but a lot of
I wasn't able to make no decisions.
A lot of things were pointing to Ricky isn't making his own mind.
Right.
So I mean.
Right, and if you didn't do that, I mean, you know, that's when the rumors get out of hand. So, you know, all of a sudden you have a million different stories floating around.
Yeah, it was just I was just like, oh no, I need to tell people. People care about him. They want to see him. They want to see it. And I'm witnessing this before my eyes. Like, I feel like this is beautiful. I want to share it.
Right.
Because it's amazing to see someone blossom like that.
Right.
I didn't think it was beautiful.
Ricky, honestly, how did you feel about it? I mean, how did you feel about it when Briza was doing all that?
Oh, at that time, I didn't even.
At that time, you didn't know, but in hindsight,
lately, after, I'm glad she did. The feedback that I got from everybody, everybody loved it, man. Everybody was watching it like you was watching lives and getting to see it. The feedback was great.
Yeah,
I don't see why anybody would have ever thought that was a problem.
But you know what, though? I mean, you can't.
But people always got opinions.
It's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I mean, Jen Plank just left here, and you know, one of her famous sayings is, you know, your conversation is for everybody, but it's for somebody.
That's right.
So so the only people that you're reaching were the somebodies, not the everybody's.
Yes.
Exactly. And no one was there when I was cleaning his trach every night. I was there. Exactly. And I was freaking out the whole time. But I would do it. And I was freaking out. And then when we went to take his trach out, they were like, "Whoa, who's taking care of this thing?"
Right.
Remember? And they said I was doing a good job, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes!"
That's awesome.
The doctor was blown away.
I thought I was
so good.
I thought I was fucking it all up. Like
Right,
I was like, "Oh my god!"
I would randomly cough stuff out of it. So on the third episode that she made of the documentary, I'm like rapping the song, and it's like, coughs, it hits Briza on the shoulder. Her sister's like, it hits you. She's like, I don't care.
No. He's about to use my sweater. I'm like, no, don't use my sweater. You're going to get an infection. I was like, there's lint on there. It's going to go straight into your lungs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got to feel good knowing that you had somebody like that in your corner.
Unbelievable, man. And without her in my corner, I really didn't have nobody else. My mother died earlier that year. My father died a few years back. My brother did come down and see me as my accident, and he actually woke me up out of my coma, slapping me, telling me get up.
That was the first thing he remembers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because random, his brother he hasn't seen for a while, you know. So it's
Right.
like his brother woke him up and he was like, "I remember my brother saying, 'Hey, no one cares about you. Wake up, tough love, you know, tough love.'"
In reality, I would have been in the bond. I didn't have nobody. I was there stuck alone, you know. So Briza really stepped up to the plate and showed me that I'm not alone.
All you need
was a-
is love.
It was a wake up call for both of us. Like
Sure
both
it
of us
was.
were just kind of like, okay, we've been living fast pace.
Mhm.
We're ready to like really.
I couldn't
care
imagine
of
sitting in
ourselves.
her shoes doing that. You know, I would have had a really hard time with it.
Oh, I'm good with that kind of stuff, but I'm
I
not
mean,
good.
clearly.
I'm not good with the little stuff. I'm good with the big stuff.
Right.
He's good with the little stuff and not good with the big stuff. We're the opposite, completely, 100%. Like
Yeah, I give up on the big stuff. Like, bye.
he's like, "Oh, I gotta go smoke a cigarette." Oh, like, good luck with that. Just kidding.
Getting back into hair,
Yeah, let's get into
I
that.
was so freaking nervous about it
What were you nervous about?
because I was talking to all these doctors and I knew that I couldn't remember much.
Right.
It's like I could remember, but then I'll go to say it and it'll just go blank. So I was like, damn, I hope I can still color hair.
He
Right.
was so good at like
I hope
he
I
was
still
so good
have
at
the knack.
convincing my. He was telling my mom in a video that I have like he was like, "Oh yeah, you make silver with like blue and pink." Like he was like so good at like selling that to her, and she was like, "Oh really? But how do you turn it back blue?" And he was like, and he sold her on another theory, and I was like, "Dang, he's good." Like
But I still questioned myself. I was like, holy crap, I hope I still have it.
Right.
Do I
Of
still
course you
have it?
did. Right.
Yeah, so my first wig that I've done when I got back, Briza had prepped one, I had one ready. The day I got back, I colored a wig. It's the prettiest wig I've ever colored in my life. My color palette changed, my whole pattern changed, and since then I've just done nothing but evolve it. But
Right.
it's like I got blessed. It was
Wow.
crazy. It really is. It was crazy.
So how was it? How was it when you said you were worried about like remembering stuff? Was that a challenge?
Yes, for the first 3-4 months, I still go blank. Like if I'm thinking of something to say, I just blank out at the last second, even though I know what it is. Like when I got out the hospital, I was like, let's go to, it's like McDonald's, but all they serves coffee. I'm talking about Starbucks, you know?
Right.
That's how it worked.
And is that's still the case now? You said?
No, barely. Like sometimes I'll have a point or I have a subject that I'm on, and I got to keep on at that subject. Boom, when I get to it, it's like blank.
Oh,
But they said I can go on for the first year or two.
right.
At the beginning, I didn't have no short-term memory, period.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
What you think?
You're like, hey, yeah,
Hey,
Briza.
oh, he
it's a
actually
good thing
remembered my
I'm
name.
super smart, you know?
Yeah, for
Right.
real, for real.
He wasn't remembering anything from like the past 2 years before his accident. Sorry, I'm cold, guys.
That's all right.
I knew you were.
He did, and I was surprised that he didn't think I was his ex-wife. I was like, "Oh, good, okay, that's a good sign." But she actually did send us money, and I texted her saying, "Thank you so much. Like that's so
pretty cool.
amazing." And we actually met up with her shortly after that, and you know, of course, he almost died.
Right.
Like it's a big deal. So it was good. It was all good, so positive, everything. But I was gonna say with his memory with the colors and stuff. I was worried.
That was gone.
I was worried. Yes, I was worried about him because.
I wasn't.
But he didn't remember anything, so you know.
Yeah, no, but he was really strong with like his answers and with what. Oh, shoot, there was a point.
I sell,
There was a
you
point
know,
I was gonna say.
ketchup to a
Sorry.
woman with white gloves.
Either way, he was really right away. He just wanted to get back into it, but like
Right.
that was when he was like him.
It lit a fire under my ass. You know, I was like, I like challenges and I like doing the best that I can. Hair is something I've always loved and had a serious passion for.
Right.
So I really worked hard at just making sure that I wasn't going to fall back.
There was a point we were talking about a little while ago. I forget what, but remember you went like this? Do you remember
Nope.
that? No, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we were. I just want to hear what he had to say at that
I know.
moment.
I forgot what.
We'll-
It
we'll-
was something about him, and I don't remember.
We'll get back to it. So, Ricky, let's go back to Orlando. Like the first time, Orlando was the first time that you kind of put your feet on the stage.
The stage, yes. I went to the.
You didn't go to Ice this year.
I went to it, but I just walked in barely. Briza performed at it.
What?
I didn't
Oh,
perform.
well, tell me about that. So you're in your hometown of LA,
Yeah,
and you walk into Ice. You hid.
Yeah.
Was it? Do you?
It's just because I didn't want people to see me like that, and also I wasn't ready. You know,
right.
I was stupid for going.
Really? How soon were you like?
I never thought of myself as like, oh my God, you can't do this, you can't do that. I had that same mentality, just go, do it. But now I look back at it and I'm like, holy crap, maybe I was, jumping the gun a little bit.
Right.
Now I wish I could chill on the couch all day. But
right.
then I didn't want to at all.
Right, of course. You had
I redid everything in the house, man. I'm ADD as hell.
Yeah, because you didn't want to accept it,
Yeah,
or make it limit.
It.
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel like I wasn't able.
Right.
I got into, since I was sitting at home, I didn't have the work to do. I started painting. I got more into videography, photography.
Lighting. He loves
lighting.
lighting.
Bracelets. I got obsessed with things, and it was a blessing in disguise too, compared to my photography's got a lot better. My videography. I sat there and watched videos all day and tried all kind of new things. So
probably just had the time to do it, right?
Yeah, I had the time to do it, and I knew that it would do nothing but better me in the long run.
That's amazing.
That speaks volume. I mean, here you are. You're not even. Doctors like, stop, slow down.
Yes.
And
the
like,
doctor thought I was a nut job. Right? He said, "You done changed my whole mentality on people healing."
Right.
Wow.
I said, "You're gonna be dumb. You better be tough." Bro.
Right.
Well, Ricky was really lucky because on the day of his accident, he had like a really good group that was available.
Like a brain group, or like a just
it was
just
neck.
the ER group.
It was for the neck.
Right.
And it was like these three. It was these three men, and they were like the best in the country, and
Right.
they were available at that moment when his accident happened, emergency.
Wow.
On Thanksgiving. Like it was crazy because he got really lucky because
If you look at people with trach scars, they're not all pretty. Sometimes they're really, really bad.
Right.
The guy that cut me, you can't even see it. You really got to look. He did it so perfect right on my tattoo. I got lucky.
he was so close to not even having someone available for that. Like
Whoa.
on an emergency, like he would have been out of luck.
Right.
But he got lucky. He had people available. It was the guy's birthday actually on Thanksgiving, and he was like, I want to save someone's life on my birthday.
He was cool too, cool as hell.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Talking about being blessed. I mean, everything was aligned perfectly.
Just like my last podcast, I was like, "Oh, everything falls in line. You're so blessed."
Yeah, you
I
guys
told
did
you.
mention
I see the angel. I see the halo.
Right. Yeah.
Something's going on,
Right.
The thing is, without my teeth, so I had 7 teeth get knocked out. 7 teeth. I hated that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Briza liked it, and I kind of liked it because I could get away. I could get
still
away
like
with
it.
murder. I go, Briza, I'm so sorry.
It's
Why,
a soft
Briza, why'd
spot.
you like it?
Because he was so innocent and so sweet, and it honestly reminds me of that time where
Like
he
a
was
2-year-old kid.
No, but he
Like-
was
like a
literally like a sweet, innocent, like very like yeah, he had not been corrupted yet from the earth or from the world or from the people, from society. He was like so sweet and like it was so cute. It was the cutest thing ever. But he looked cute too because he had no teeth and he could pull it
What's that-
off for
what's that
some
little
reason.
kid from help me out, Stranger Things?
Does he have no teeth?
The dude with no teeth? No. This is
wait,
kid.
wait.
He like
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
have teeth.
yes. He had longerish hair.
It's like the little like bush.
Yes,
the
yeah.
little
Bush, he had a bush hair, yeah.
So how long before Ricky was an asshole again?
I want to say like when we got home, it was like right away. I'm kidding. I was like, damn it, those nurses are gone. And, like, fuck. I was like, oh my God, we need to get back in there because I want to feel safe. Not
Right.
only because not only because of that. I'm just kidding. But because I wanted to feel like there was like some security. I'm not a professional nurse, so I
Right.
was like,
You are
oh,
now.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks. Now I can take care of anybody.
She still changes my diapers.
So with each thing that you were regaining, like getting stronger, and you got your teeth back, and were you gaining more confidence or more strength? Were you like just?
I tell you,
Be honest.
The thing I struggle the most with is the voice. The teeth didn't bother me much because I'd forget. except for when I went in the store to get something. You know, they look at you a little crazy. But I was white trash beautiful. The voice, when I recently started going on stages again, yes, it's been one of the things that's been the most nemesis of all.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Sometimes I get on stage and usually I just had it down. I was the gift of gab. I've always been confident with that, and focusing on my voice and making sure it's not cracking and stuff. I lost a little bit of my gift of gab. This weekend was a great one. It started coming back and I started feeling more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But that has been the biggest struggle as far as my career and what I do for a living has been my voice.
It sounds like the voice is like that was the confidence breaker, right? Like that was the one
Yes,
that like
it was.
yeah. I can see that. How was it going back to Orlando a little bit? So how was it like when the industry like, oh shit, Ricky's back?
Oh, it
How
was
was it?
it was very welcoming, and Orlando wasn't bad at all because I just got back from an accident, so I kind of had an excuse. I could have been weaker, but you know, the further I get away from it, I'm the harshest on myself, man.
Of course you are.
I really am. I
We all
want to
are.
be the best that I could be. So if it ain't 100%, I ain't happy. It sucked.
It was Washington when
Just a couple weeks ago at BTC.
yeah, that was Washington.
Uh-huh.
Orlando was when your first show back, right?
Orlando was the first show back. Yes.
Was it? Okay, I wasn't sure. I forgot.
Yeah. And then but BTC was the first one where you're like, oh, Ricky's back. Like Ricky's
Yes,
back.
the first one that I shined at. Yes.
Yeah.
And then this weekend, the hair come out great. My live stage today, I feel like I dropped the ball a little bit because I was up there with Daniel and he's such a good talker. But everybody says I did good. I just don't feel like
Daniel Mason Jones? No, Daniel Rodain.
Rodain, yes.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a great dude, man. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly getting back better. Once I get my voice back, I'll be 100.
Ricky did really, really well. I'm like, from me being first person,
She loves me.
seeing him.
Right.
Well, I seen him in his deathbed almost, like,
Right.
and like seeing him there, and then seeing him this weekend, I was just like, wow. Like I was telling one of his associates or whatever you want to call him, I was like, wow, I'm just so proud of him because he was definitely somewhere that I didn't think he was going to be in this spot in November. I was looking at
Right.
it like this is going to take a while.
Dude, you're
Just
such an
bounce back.
inspiration, bro. I mean,
Thank you.
just seeing not only all the struggles that was against you that you stood up and overcome, but you know what I mean. Just your injuries and everything. To see you battle through that and achieve what you've done in such a short amount of time, it's so inspiring, bro.
Shocks me, man.
Right? You know, most of us wouldn't have it in us to be where you are right now in such a short period of time.
Thank you. I mean, I'm trying my hardest, and I love what I do, and I feel like that's what I needed to do.
Right.
I felt like if I would have sat back and really went through this whole process of healing and sitting there worrying and stressing, I would have just been a stress ball, and it would probably prolong that. So me getting out there and pushing myself to be the best that I can be has really worked well for me.
Yeah, for me personally, being a big Ricky fan and watching you,
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Oh, that's happening.
yeah, just seeing you back up on social media, man, it just gives you that all right, he's back. Because I mean, your skills, it's still there. I mean, there's no slowing down on that. But it felt so good to see you back in action, back on point, and doing your thing.
Guess who's back?
The thing about hair, I've been coloring Vivids for as long as I can remember. I like dark to light gradient coloring. I've always have. I never really went into the new fads and the different ways to color because I knew there were fads, and I look back at something like that and not be proud of it 5 years down the road. So I stuck to what's beautiful when it comes to vivid coloring, dark to light, staying in the same families, block coloring. Mm-hmm. Well, being the last couple of years traveling so much and working, I was just going through the motions. I knew my color palettes that I liked and worked well, and I knew how to lay it on hair. So I was really taking advantage of that.
Just going through the motions.
Yeah. Since my accident, I've done changed my whole palette. I'm going into some totally different new techniques that is so unique and rare that got me all excited about them for the first time in my career. Since I've been coloring hair, I've really changed my whole outlook. My color palette's different. What I used to not like, I like. It's kind of crazy. Ain't it weird how you evolve in the world?
Fuck this hair. Like coloring a wig in the kitchen, just so frustrated because he's been spending hours on it, like just trying to get back, you know, like just really working hard at it.
Yeah, I was so pissed off one day that way. This new palette I got, it's called Reflect Effect. It's so you put like your lightest color would be in the middle of the hair, and on top of it and below it is is the same. So it's a reflection. Mind-boggling, right?
Yeah.
You change the scalp as you go up the hair. Briza and I actually made this together and worked on it.
Don't tell him it. Don't tell him it. It's a secret. It's a secret. It's kidding.
One thing that she did, it motivated me, and then I come up with this pattern, and she's done helped me master it. Well, there's a lot to it. It's crazy to explain as you go up the head from where you start. Every section, it pretty much changes the color. But when the hair's all laying, you wouldn't know that. It just looks like it's perfect.
Wow.
He does it so organized, and I do it kind of chaotic. So like, we do two different
It's
ways.
an art in itself, and when you see it being done, it really makes you think a lot. It's one of them palettes you really got to think.
Is there a particular time that the rest of us, since you just kind of like teased everybody with it, that you're going to reveal this masterpiece?
Actually, it's all over my page. That picture I posted yesterday is a double reflect effect.
The double reflect
That,
effect.
so
What's today's date?
I haven't got into
14th?
educating
Today's the
it yet.
14th. So
15th.
I did a class
My
in
quote said,
Boise, Idaho, last weekend, the weekend before last.
right.
I kind of started touching base on educating for it.
Nice.
It's one of them ones I really haven't got the whole system down to educate it because it's so far out there. But it was very rewarding to do it. It was a hands-on class.
Right.
It was cool because at the beginning they were like, "What the hell is he talking about?" But I watched it and get it. I watched it click. It
Today
was
was
so
good.
rewarding.
Today was really good when you taught it today. It was really like if
getting
I'd
better.
never heard it, I would get it 100%.
It's one of them things
You don't know.
You gotta
I didn't totally get it.
you gotta see it, and then it's something that always went in my head when you see the hair. So say you want to do some stripes in the hair, you would normally just do a regular melt at the bottom, and then when you come up to the mohawk section, you could do whatever you want. It's gonna hang over the rest. You're not gonna see it. But what's going on in the mohawk section is actually going through the rest of the hair. That's the difference.
I can't wait to see it. I want to open up my phone and take a peek at it.
He has
So-
a bunch
Hold
on
on,
his
let me
page.
show you
It's
my
all over.
vagina.
It's all over. Videos of him doing it. Like,
Oh, nice.
all over
How
his page.
sexy is that, dude?
So we're looking at a video of
That's my
Ricky's
Vagina.
larynx there.
You see that
That's
one?
that's the
The
most
swollen one.
disgusting thing ever.
The swollen one is the one that's paralyzed.
Whoa. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
So
Oh.
it happens, man.
He just gave birth.
It's a baby. But at this
It's really
point,
moist.
my voice wasn't this low. That you seen how fat the paralyzed one was?
Yeah.
When they clap together, that's your voice can be loud.
Right.
And right now, it's getting smaller and smaller because it's been paralyzed. It's creating air that comes in between and making your voice. So I didn't think it was that bad. I even told her, I was like, "This ain't that bad. I don't have to worry about it."
It'll be good. It'll be
Then
good.
like 2 months later, I'm like, I went back to her. She goes, "I knew you'd be back."
Hey Ricky, so you've got some huge news, right? Coming in. So what are you doing with
Huge.
Matrix, my brother?
Huge, man. Another blessing. I'm having 4 colors coming in. Hairgod Zito's additions to Cult. I've been in the lab formulating them. I've been creating this great bond with the lab. It's unreal, man.
So like it's a color line that's coming out. So is it going to be like your like colors, kind of like these are Rickey Zito colors or
Yes.
tones and stuff?
Yes.
Okay,
Hey,
word.
I'll show you the packaging. So
Well, if you're going to show the package and then when we put the podcast up, you also have to put it up on your Instagram.
it's fine. I put it on my story. I just got the A-OK.
Okay.
Hey.
All right.
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
How many? You said 4? 4
Yeah,
colors?
4 right now.
That's awesome.
I'm really trying to make Colt's whole color line a complete. So that way you ain't got to look nowhere else for nothing. Make sure you can cross every board you ever thought of with their line.
Love it.
It's an unbelievable color line. It really, really is. Where a lot of color lines that I've worked with in the past and ones that I loved before, they look cheap. You can make them look cheap very easily. They're bright colors. You know, if you know the color line off of 4 colors, you can make every color in the line. Coat, you definitely can't do that.
Right.
Coats, you know, you definitely couldn't make every color in the line, even if you wanted to, even if I wanted to. It's such an intricate color line, and it looks so expensive and high end. It's got a certain sheen about it that doesn't look cheap, and you couldn't make it. And I think that's what we all need to focus on, being vivid artists. Every hairstylist that's working behind a chair wants to do vivid hair. Just to be fun, just to be that artist that you started doing hair for. Well, if everybody keeps doing that cheap looking stuff and keeps brightening out and, you know, looking wild, which is I love and I like doing accents still, then it's never going to help us being able to do it across the board. Because
You mean like generally in the general audience?
in the general audience. Because right now it's such a taboo. If you work at the bank, you can't have bright colors. Well, you should see what my models and clients work at, because if you make it look expensive and high end and done beautifully, the boss ain't saying nothing.
Right.
He's telling the girl that looks like she colored her hair in the bathroom by herself, you know, girl, you gotta go. You can't have that pink.
Right.
And you'll be right outside of her walking in with your pink, and they won't say shit. Because if you make it look high end and expensive and look like someone did it professionally, then it's gonna open up the door for a lot of people to be able to do it. So I wish the industry would start. I can't wait for the industry to start focusing on that more, and let's see how far we can take it.
I love that.
Can we see the packaging?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be $3.
That's pretty amazing.
Really, Ricky really loves Matrix, and Matrix really loves Ricky. So it's nice to see him really happy with his job, and it's nice to see his job like giving him, you know, some love.
Yes.
Nice.
It's a beautiful company to me, and the whole reason I joined in the get-go is because I've seen that people's been working for Matrix for 20 plus years. There's a lot of educators that stay with them. They built like a family aspect. So I was joining a crew that I had a lot of room to grow.
Right.
I wasn't like I was in another crew and was at the top dog and waiting for everybody to catch up to me.
Right.
I was like a peon joining Matrix. So it's been great. I've been growing. They've all accepted me. It's a great company, and they stand behind their artists, and I freaking love it, man.
He has a lot to offer.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier too. Is that it's just amazing where you know, just a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, like Matrix was kind of dark, you know, to it, and then over the last couple of years, man, they've like
blossomed.
They've forced themselves into the front of the industry, which is just remarkable.
You know what it was is the educators that they kept had been having forever, just kind of got, you know, stuck in a stagnant, stale place, I guess. But when the new influencers started joining the crew, it lit a fire in there.
Things changed,
for
right?
Sure.
Yeah, they went to see it.
Unbelievable, man.
Dude, so tell me, we talked to Tabitha earlier, and she's doing the mentees. How's it been working with the mentees?
They're great, man. They really are. I get a lot of pleasure out of working in front of them and showing off and sharing.
Right.
Yeah, they really
They like you.
It's a great program, man.
Yeah, they're trying to be like you.
Yeah,
I like the packaging, dude. It's what it says: Hair God, blessed and highly favored.
Yeah, it's
all right.
Actually, my signature's on it, and they took my logo and got it 3D printed and got a bunch of them, and that's actually a picture of it. And then the woman that does the packaging is unreal, man.
That's so cool.
Yeah, look at this box. That's all my logos. It's pretty cool. They 3D printed all the logos, and that's
That
what they
is
took.
so cool.
Ain't that cool,
Look
man?
at that, man.
I'm a little jealous. I said they're all silver. Where's the gold?
On the Babeless Clippers.
Yes. Got some, you know, they really got some cool. I got some other things coming out with them that's going to be great. So I can't wait.
That's awesome. So we were, I think we're going to try to make it happen. We're going to the Matrix. What's the thing going on? Destination.
Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Y'all are going to love it.
No, Orlando. It's
Orlando. Yes.
Wait, Orlando?
No, Orlando. It's in Orlando.
Orlando.
Yeah.
Well, I've been around a lot of education the last 5 years, you know, and I tell you what, this one is by far the top dog. They don't cut no corners. They go all the way in, and what they're doing is amazing. It really is. anybody who's going and spending money in the next year, taking an education event, you might want to think about this one because they have 9 classes that's going to go on 3 times a day. Each class runs 3 times a day. If you buy a ticket, you go there. You can take any class you want for them 3 days whenever you want. It's up to you. My class, I don't even do hair. It's about creating content behind a chair.
Wow.
You know, so it's crossing all avenues, and they got the best of the best out there running. It's going to be a really, really good show, man.
They've really put a lot into like all their programs and everything.
They don't cut no corners.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If you're trying to learn hair and you're young at it, it's the best one by far.
Take a peek at Matrix.
Well,
See
we're
what Matrix
definitely
up
going to
to.
be there.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be there.
Well, I can't wait, man.
Then we're going to get to hang out with you again in,
Don't y'all
in
owe me a
LA.
beer or something?
Touche. That was
I'm done, son.
If he can order it in a bar, we'll get it.
Bartender. It's funny because my first time going back, I was with Christopher Benson.
Benson,
you know?
yeah.
So I'm on stage, and I'm like, I just look like I'm talking intently. And Christopher's like, what Ricky's trying to say is. So amazing, man. He was playing with it. Chris is an amazing guy, man.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's like having, he's going to start saying stuff that you don't mean, but just making stuff up. Right?
That's right. Yeah. I regretted it real quick.
Oh my gosh, that's
And have
amazing.
y'all seen that CBC show that they're throwing?
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, we were
today.
there today.
That's freaking bad.
Yeah, that was tight.
We saw it in Orlando. Actually, we saw you there at the show in Orlando.
Yes.
And then I talked to Chris after the show, and I thought how neat it was. Kind of like the same setup, but the hair was so much different because, and what Chris does better than anybody in the industry is that he truly collabs, and the artists that he brings in. Like last time in Orlando, he had Sarah Jane, and he had Erica Keeling, and he had and our favorite is Casey Powell. And then to kind of watch that happen, and then today he had
Rebecca Taylor.
Rebecca Taylor today, and then and Queen of the South.
Yep,
and
Patty.
and the look, then the
Patty,
look.
I love Patty.
We all love Patty. She's amazing. She's an amazing person. But it was just really cool to kind of watch the same show, but the I don't even want to call it evolution because it was different. It was just different hair. It wasn't evolving from anything. It just was different, but it was still badass.
Yes, Chris is a genius, man. It's hard to explain. He done mastered this. When he comes and they doing their prep work, they hardly had to do anything. They're ready. They're headpieces. He had five models and 15 looks, something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's just flipping out pieces, man. He had it all down to a science, and he's ready when he comes. It's unbelievable to be able to witness that.
And like one of the sweetest guys in the industry.
Real deal, yes.
Yeah, the real deal.
Dude.
Guys, thank you so much. I mean,
Man, I know we're late, and I know it's been a hell of a day, but we got it out.
yeah, it happened, man. I
Dude.
mean,
I'm
Yeah,
so
I
glad-
wish it
I'm
would
so
have
glad we
happened
got
earlier. Yes,
I
because
am too. We definitely have tried a few times.
On the last one.
Uh-huh.
I'm still here.
He's still here.
we
Ricky's still
truly-
here, man.
I truly appreciate you coming on, telling that story. But let people know how they can watch the documentary. How they can.
2 of them. Briza made the documentary.
Wait,
She
you guys
filmed
want to
this.
see more? Because I
edited
got lots. Of stuff. I got
What
lots of
they
stuff.
to keep from where you started and just keep following.
The next one's, it gets funnier and funnier, bro. I was like in the hospital ridiculous out of my mind. And Briza just filmed it all, you know.
I just want to make one big one and put it on YouTube, but like little ones on Instagram, you know?
Yeah,
like
one
it's
day-
one
Do
big
the,
one on
do the
YouTube.
little ones, yeah, and then if you
I
want to.
woke up like a puppy with 2 Peters.
It's so
you know?
good. He was so. He
I
was,
don't know what that means. Were you happy? Were you sad? What's a puppy
I
with
was
2
happy.
Peters?
One was excited, one was not.
But I'm like, I think I'm a rapper one day. I'm spitting out all kind of lyrics
oh yeah, he was good.
with no voice.
Oh my
I
gosh,
was
it's
like,
gonna
so
repeat.
funny.
you did the damn thing. Whoa.
Awesome. But so how can people follow it? Find it.
They're both of them's on my page right now. They're both on my IGTV.
IGTV.
Yep.
Awesome.
And y'all just convinced Briza to do the 3rd one.
I'm already halfway done. I
Yeah,
swear.
right. We'll do it. Just do it,
it's
man.
just-
That'd be
I
cool.
Discovered audio, so
I,
I'm like a little like delayed.
I seen how hard she was working to put the first one together. And yeah, I felt a little weird when it was releasing because it's like, you know, some of
It's
the
vulnerable, right?
vulnerable parts of my life. But it was well worth it after. I haven't felt weird about it since. It's good response. It's something that happened to me and I accepted it.
I felt a little bad, to be honest, at first, because he didn't want to watch it. Like, and I was trying to show him, and I worked so hard, and I was like, Ricky, I was like,
Watching
it
it made
looks
me
so
feel some type
good.
of
It
way.
looks so good. Like, this is what you went through. You have to know because you need to know your limit. Like, you need to know.
I don't like to
He has no
explore the
limits.
bad things.
But
I stay positive. I try to.
I realized once he started telling people about it that he actually did like it.
Yeah,
He started.
Yeah.
I heard him telling people about it, and I was like, "Oh, okay,
I seen how much work I
okay."
had done,
Like,
and I know it was done
I'm not
great.
tripping.
You know, so I was proud of it.
He
Just
loved
didn't
it.
like watching it.
Kidding.
Right, I get you.
He was very proud of it, so that makes me happy.
Yeah, I bet.
I want him to be true to himself. You know.
That's
Well,
awesome.
At first, after my accident, I was mad about a few things. I didn't understand why it happened. Why me? So I was upset about it at first. Right when I got home, I had this big bill come in. And then I talked to someone, and they was telling me about accepting it. One day I just sat there, I looked in the mirror, I said, look, my throat's messed up. Yeah, my neck's sore when I wake up, but it is what it is. This doesn't happen to me. I accept it. I accept the wrongs and what's happened to me and all the bad that's come. I accepted it and moved on, and I felt better ever since, man.
Okay, wait.
I'm not mad at nothing. I'm not upset at nothing. It's all been a blessing, and I can't wait to see what life has to bring to me. So keep going, keep fighting. Tomorrow's a new day.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Dude.
Obviously, you're blessed and highly favored, brother.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank
Super
you.
inspiring.
Apparently, you can tell I'm dumb or I'm the GOAT.
Briza, Ricky,
Sad.
this has been an amazing hour. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much for coming on and sharing the story.
I love you guys, man. I love y'all. Y'all always been great to me. Everybody I meet that knows y'all, I fill them in. Tell them how great y'all are.
You're the best, man.
And I've never
Is he
heard-
lying, Briza?
He only lies about like remembering your name. I'm just kidding.
I've never
No, he
heard
always
one
talks
bad
really
thing
great
about
about
me.
you guys. Really great about you guys.
And in
always.
this beauty industry, that's rare.
That's it, man.
Oh, we appreciate it,
We
brother.
appreciate you guys. We appreciate your time.
And y'all stay late tonight. I'm interrupting y'all's bedtime.
He talks about how hilarious you guys are. And, I couldn't wait to meet you guys. I was like,
That's when I had fun. you know?
Right. Yeah. Right.
yeah,
That's
he was
right.
like, they're so funny.
We've had kind of fun. I mean, it's been deep, but we've had fun today. a
Yeah.
little bit.
I'll do another one. Say if you come to destination,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
we'll have fun again.
Let's do it.
Let's
All
do it
right,
over
we're gonna
beers
hold you
next-
to it. All right,
Hold you
We
to
do it
it.
over beers next time. We talk about
Definitely.
We'll have a
do that.
table full.
We'll have a
where
table
the
full.
career's going.
That's awesome. All right. Really, we gotta wrap this up, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying late for us
Rock
because
and roll.
of the rock and roll. Thank you guys, and thank you very, very much for joining us on your. Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.